Hey y'all, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm Angelica with End God's Timing. I'm stopping through to talk to y'all just for a little bit, not too long, y'all. Happy Saturday, y'all. Rise and shine. Okay, rise and shine. So I'm gonna hop right on into what I'm gonna talk about today. As you can see in the title, I titled this The Truth Hurts. And the man has always been enemy number one. Okay. Some of the things that we have to learn as individuals, men and women, dealing with our emotions, right? You get some women that get offended when people talk about women, when men talk about women, or men get offended when women talk about men. Too many folk a little too deep in their feelings. Understanding that we all have areas that we got to work on, y'all. We all have hurt, pain, trauma, things that have impacted our lives, uh, good and bad. At the same time, knowing that still being teachable, okay? Always being teachable and reachable, right? That means you can learn something from anybody. You can learn stuff from any situation. That means that allowing sometimes the right ones, because you can learn good and bad from anybody. And let me get this disclaimer. Excuse any outside noise, y'all. Okay. I didn't feel like going downstairs to do this video. But anywho, how some men, you can learn from women, good or bad, right? Women can learn from men, good or bad, learn from children. Okay. And when you think about even like what was it earlier today? Well, it's still morning, it's still early. But I was listening to Glenn Jones um from the 80s, right? Show Me. Okay. We're at a point to uh, knowing how to apply certain things and what to apply. So the men have been on my heart, okay, these past few days, real strong and on my mind. I've come to the understanding to know that when certain people come across my mind or some things begin to be heavy on my spirit, it's not me, it's God. And that means you're on God's mind, you're on his heart, right? The scripture says, what is it that you are so mindful of man, mindful of your creation? And the enemy's job is to take out all of us are on target, right? As far as being targeted, but especially the man. Okay, so going back to the song, sometimes we need love, different types of love. But a part of what we've been doing as a generation, we do a lot of we hear a lot of arguing, right? A lot of going back and forth, and we're not hearing each other, right? You have some people trying to prove their point or get their point across, have the last word, or make people understand you. The word says we understand with our heart. So when you have a generation or a lot of people that have issues of the heart, right, have a lot of bitterness, anger, hurt, pain, impacts your thinking, right? It impacts your judgment, right? You're not able to hear somebody fully, right? You're not able to be empathetic to what they're dealing with because you can only think about your own pain, your own hurt. But sometimes that soft, still voice, learning how to talk to each other, right? Men and women, even our kids, right? On the job, different areas, learning how to communicate. That's been a big problem for many of us. Communication. We're not communicating properly, right? We're not communicating to each other properly. Listening, right? Our responses end up being off. With that song, and just thinking about with love, okay? Um, I'm an 80s baby, so even just the power of music. Let me say this first. The Lord teaches me and shows me. I put y'all on. I'm learning from some of y'all too, right? Uh, what was I saying? Okay, the power of music. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So the power of music. So I understand the power of music. So I'm just gonna be honest, along my journey, I don't listen to gospel music all the time. 97% of the time I am, whether it be gospel rap or even work music, or I'm listening to other things to edify my body because me personally, I'm sensitive. So when especially with the music in this generation, um, if I listen to too much toxic stuff, I can't even think straight. Like that's that thorn in my side to where I have to cut certain things off. But there are times where I may listen to some old school music, right? Some 80s, 70s music, 90s every now and again. But for the most part, I don't. But again, I understand the power of music and the impact of it and how it can impact your thinking, all that other stuff. So I just want to throw, but at the same time, everybody can't do that, right? You got to think about what we consume. All of those things play a factor into our everyday lives. Again, He knows our journey. Okay. God meets us where we are. That doesn't justify certain things that we do, but we make gradual changes, right? It's a progress. It's a process, excuse me, right? We're on a journey. We're striving daily as believers to walk more like Christ. You don't just stop certain things overnight. We all have different areas we need to work on. Some people may have lust that they need to work on. Some people may have shopping addictions or just different things. We have different areas that we need to work on, but God works on every area, right? But at the same time, learning who you are, learning where you are, learning yourself. That is the point of me even saying it. I had to learn me. I had to learn, and I'm still learning, learning when to cut stuff off, when you got to move out of the way, learning how to navigate. So going back to the music, okay? So I was listening to Show Me. If you have never heard that song, it's an 80s song. But in that song, he's telling the woman that he needs her to show him what she needs. Sometimes we're not always able to articulate what we need, right? Sometimes even with a child, some of us, we have different learning styles. Somebody may need to show you, right? Show you what we're hands on. Okay. Teaching each other how to, they say, what's that saying? You teach a person how to treat you, right? Sometimes we become so passive and tolerant to what would let people run all over us. Or again, I mentioned for me in the last video that the enemy targeted my heart because I love hard, right? By nature, I'm a loyal person. I'm respectful. Certain things that he knew he had to get to weaken me, right? By breaking my heart. And he uses people. So it's interesting how God will use the foolish things, right? In reference to someone who's come from abusive relationships, who've had had people break my heart. Even not even caring to deal with women sometimes or deal with certain people. Those are the very things God led me to. Sometimes the areas that we have suffered in, the areas that we've been hurt in, or the areas that we've missed it in, and God has taught us, he uses us in those areas. So being able to identify a problem, being able to identify pain. Let me give an example. Some areas that I've worked in, I've had to be observant of body. Some things we already do, but as far as the enhancement of it, knowing when somebody's off, when they're not feeling well, when they change. I do this anyways. It's just a part of my nature, right? With my friends, different people around me. I know when I talk to somebody on the phone, especially when we're in connection, right? When something's off, right? When something's not right. You want people that actually get to know you, that care about you. Okay. Even on an everyday basis, whether it's at the hospital, whether it's on the job, you want people to actually care about you, care about your well-being, a part of your growth. Okay. And the men are being targeted the strongest. We hear this all the time. We see it. Okay. We know that God is the head, right? He covers us all. But first and foremost, he covers the man, right? The man covers the family. He has a direct connect to the Father, which we all do, right? The veil has been lifted. When you become a believer, you have access. That's a part of our benefits. We have access as individuals to the Father ourselves. I can go straight to the source. I can bypass certain other people and go straight to the source, God himself, for myself, right? But again, the enemy's tactics haven't changed in reference to the man. He had to get through the woman. So he went around the man to get to the woman. So many of us have been uncovered, right? By default. The enemy has known how to do these things. When people keep going back and forth about, again, the woman did it and the man did it, this, that, and the third, it's still basic warfare. So we are watching and we have been experiencing different blueprints, right? Different phases. Yes, we fell for the traps, right? The woman fell for the trap. Different people fell for the different traps, right? Different snares. different manifestos, different agendas, different things that were put into place to help us get to where we are now. So again, the enemy, his main goal was for the man first, right? So he comes for the woman, then he gets the children. We see this globally. Many of the things that we're seeing taking place is a global effect now, right? We saw it on smaller levels first, but now we're seeing more people being impacted, seeing, wow, I didn't know it was this deep, or now that people, some other races or other people groups are being impacted by things that are happening, it's opening up their eyes. Okay. So, we are a host, and I'm not talking about like the host of a party or nothing like that. I'm talking about a host. You're a gateway. Okay. So the enemy uses, and God uses, people to get a message through, to get your blessing through. Look, Satan uses it to get curses through. Okay. Different things. He uses people. It was a person that hurt you. People say the church hurt me. No, it was an individual, right? That man hurt you. That woman hurt you. So then you have people that are carrying baggage, right? Carrying stuff from the past that is from generations of different people who hurt them. And that saying is true: hurt people hurt people. So the truth will set you free, but it hurts. We notice when the truth comes out, it brings out different types of emotions out of people, whether it's anger, bitterness, frustration, because one, sometimes you found me out, or you can see me, right? When you begin to see a person for who they truly are, right? Beyond just looking on the outside, whether it be their beauties, their looks, going beyond sex, different things, when you actually begin to see a person for who they truly are. Okay. So with the host, you have something called the mode of transmission, right? That's something that's in science. Okay. Which is the process of transferring one thing to another. You can think about it like this: when people get sick, especially like during the pandemic, somebody may touch a buggy, right? And they sneeze. Then the next person goes and touches it and rubs their nose, right? Now they're transferring germs, right? So we've been dealing with people transferring infections, literally, and then even people transferring spirits, but people transferring their toxic mindsets, right? Ideologies. We've been seeing this on a global scale, the transferring of knowledge and information, the enemy trying to, again, get our minds, get us on one accord, get us in agreement with his plans. His job is to have many of us, the world, look more like him, more like Satan, more like his ways, pride like, transformer, mindsets like Satan, right? And God is striving to get many of us back in one accord with him, Christ like. Okay, you got two different gods. God is still Alpha and Omega, and Satan cannot be redeemed. So what is the next thing? To get to the people, to get to his creation, get in the minds of the people, the hearts of the people. We recently just talked about soul catchers, your mind, your will, and emotion, while the enemy has been using the net, kept capturing people. The internet is a big one, right? So going back to even with gradual changes, we've seen gradual changes with technology, right? We've seen gradual changes in the family dynamic, right? We've seen gradual changes in music, right? It was subtle. Okay. We've seen just across the board different gradual changes, and we try to figure out, how did we get here to this point now, right? Whether it be in your own personal life, but even in the world, how did we get here? It was gradual, but it was consistent. So again, Satan was given permission to deceive the world, to deceive many of us. He used music, right? He used people wanting to be famous, wanting more, people wanting knowledge, wanting things. He used oppression, he used suppression, he used the color of our skin, he used people to help implement his plans. And many of us, again, contributed to it. So now we're at a time, so again, you reap what you sow. So if you continue to help in the narrative, you get caught in the crossfire. Okay. God allows things to happen. We're watching things happen to people's families, people's children. So again, with the enemy coming for the man, he comes for the family. We see the target against the family dynamic, period. The nuclear family, right? The husband, the wife, the children. Okay. Going again, back to the man, friction, right? The enemy knew I needed friction, bringing that heat. I needed friction to what is it? Confusion, right? I needed to bring frustration between people, between races, between men and women. And many have been falling right into the trap, right? Still going by the narrative, not dealing with the things at hand. And it's too much at stake right now. Okay. There is power in influence, truly. Okay. Many people are we're influenced different ways, right? Our environment can influence us. This is why it is so important. Why we need our men. Okay. Tearing down men or tearing down women is not going to help build anything. You're just going to cut, you basically adding fuel to the fire. You're making it worse instead of better. So again, when we don't properly communicate or listen to each other, again, identifying a problem, the pain, right? Understanding that men have pain too. They hurt too, right? Women, everything has been about women. You got women on this takeover mindset right now. Okay, this is all a part of the plan, but many people jump on the bandwagon, not even realizing the agenda or the motive behind it is bigger than what you think this little surface level stuff is. Girl power or just being independent is deeper than that. Again, Satan likes to play games. And some of us, we've had games played on us, right? Some people have played games on you, right? Whether it been a man, or a woman, right? Some of you all have been the ones to play games. So when you experience certain things, you learn from it, right? You can identify when somebody's trying to do you or trying to play. People act like they don't know. But we're getting older, and it's at a point to by now you should be able to identify some common sense things. We keep blaming each other, blaming the man, but you choose. We have choices that we make. Again, Satan doesn't care about our ignorance. This beast system, this connection, this network does not care about our ignorance. Their job is to fulfill their purpose. They understand their assignment. Some of the people that we're watching, some of the people that you're most loved and people idolize, they know their assignment. And it costs. As that saying say, it costs to be the boss. The weight that comes with it, the agreement that comes with it, the consequences that comes with different things that we get into agreement with. So example of so like I said, let's make this clear. The attack on the family, right? The nuclear family, we see this. We've seen the gradual breakdown, right? This is for everybody, right? The breakdown, the attack, the targets is on everybody. But then when you begin to break down in, smaller values, the man, okay, was the initial goal first because he's the head of the household. He's the head of the family. Okay. So the attack was with the woman, intriguing her, using the white woman with the black women. Okay. So the man, period, has been enemy number one. But we have seen very transparently, especially the black man, especially the black family. So it goes back to, again, folk can get up out their feelings. The family, period, has been being attacked. Okay. That's everybody. But uniquely and strategically, the black family, the black man, the black woman, and the black children have been targeted. We recently talked about the black family on life support. People get offended when people talk about that, but we're seeing this happening, right? We're watching the results of so much toxicity, and the devil has been crafty. So again, any other people group, they care about their own, right? We're supposed to care about one another, everybody. So why would me, even as a black woman, not care about my black family or my black people along with everybody else? We've had this ideology to love and serve everyone else and care about everyone else's growth, but not care about our own. And we're watching families be destroyed. We're watching delusional women, delusional men. Again, the family period on life support, but then especially the Black family. That's serious. And God cares. He's mindful. Remember, he sent Jesus to save a lost world for everybody. But he still has a bloodline. He still has a natural people. So again, now things that didn't make sense before are beginning to make a lot of sense, right? Why such the attack on the family, right? We're going to get into that. So one of the examples of Satan being crafty, I like how, who was it? Chris Speaks had a video. I can't remember which one it was, but she talked about the Divine Nine, where Joe Biden made the comment that he knows where the power lies. So a part of this even too is we need to know where our power lies. You know, when you go to a power lines, we have power lines everywhere that distributes power, right? To our houses, to buildings. We just had power outages. Come on, Holy Spirit, thank you. We just had power outages. So learning where the power sources are, right? Getting back to, again, being able to identify tactics of the enemy that have been so subtle, right? They have been getting us in trouble, because then we begin mixing stuff. So getting into it, talked about how he knows where the power lies. So the Divine Nine is the Black fraternities and sororities, a combination of men and women. We've been talking about how the enemy, Satan, through people, right, and even through using us, from experimentation, from studying, from fallen angel knowledge. Again, when we start seeing stuff or hearing things come around too much, right? Pay attention to it. They put these subliminal messages in our face, whether it be through movies, whether it be through things that we see on TV, little markers that they throw out, right? A lot of this stuff that's taking place is a lot of distraction to keep us not focused on the real issues at hand. Them trying to usher in this NWO, a whole new world. Okay. So the Black fraternities and sororities, again, when you have believers that are in Greek fraternities, right? And sororities, that's serving another master. God is a jealous God. So when I said I didn't understand why we had so much friction in the Black communities, or why it was so hard for us to stand up as a people, because when you look at certain things, you know, with the fraternities and the sororities and the Masons and different things, you see community. Okay. I mentioned what God gave me, what in God's timing was family, community, God first. Okay. The husband, the wife, the children. God is restoring order. So a part of that is to, even again, the breaking up of the family, getting to our mind, getting to, getting us different ways. So back to the fraternities and sororities, right? We end up mixing stuff. So again, I didn't understand before, but God has been taking some of us down memory lane, allowing us to understand what we're experiencing, what we're seeing, so we know how to nip these things in the bud. Okay? Because the enemy is coming for the foundation. What do you believe? What are you standing on? So when the foundation is faulty of a building, it's not hard to make it fall. We're watching bridges collapse. We're watching different systems collapse right before our eyes. We're watching the family collapse. God is building us back up, but we have to be on a sturdy foundation. You have to know what you believe, what you want, who you are, being able to identify. Because again, we're in the midst of a separation. This has been happening, separating the weeds from the wheat, the sheep from the goat. Basic common sense stuff. So when people walk around and even say, I'm the goat, are they the goat? Okay, you with the devil? Subtle, simple things. Remember, Satan is crafty. As people, we're so easily beguiled. We're so easily deceived, right? The woman, the man, the children were easily intrigued. So the enemy has been using little slick tactics to get our agreement. But it seems like inclusion, right? So within God's timing, family, God restoring order, okay, restoration. put the man being put back in his rightful position. But again, when you have too many women still tearing down men, going back and forth, a part of my journey, what God had me to do was to deal with me. Yes, this man may have hurt you. Yes, this person may have hurt you, or they may have done you wrong, but I need you to see your part. At the same time, setting us apart, because we're different, we're peculiar, we're unique. So a woman has the ability to speak life into a man, speak life into her children. And it's something about a Black woman when she's in her rightful position, right? And right, first of all, because in God's timing is built on God. Like, this is his business, first and foremost. So my standards, our morals, our background is on biblical principles, okay? But a lot of the things I'm talking about is basic, okay? Because the enemy been getting us on the basic level. Like base heads. He's been getting us on the basic level. Okay, I just want to throw that in there. Let me go back to these sororities and fraternities. So that was a interesting way. Simple, subtle, right? Including us. Right. So not only with the Black family, that's an example, because it goes back to, again, didn't Joe Biden say, okay, he knows where the power lies. So we've been hearing about where people trying to figure out who we are, identifying ourselves, right? What's in us? What is it? What is it about Black people that is, people hate us, but then you love us? That don't even make sense. Okay. But then too, with different people groups, right? The enemy's been crafty. He used religion, right? He has something for everybody's appetite. He's strategic. So even when we look at on a bigger scale with the government and systems, right? Or even the people at the top, the 33. Okay. Let me put it like this. They get downloads too. So just like God gives his church, gives believers, remember, connected to the source when you get back in alignment, right? We get downloads. Some of us have gotten downloads and dreams at a young age. Okay, God is just cleaning us up, bringing us back to him. But they get downloads. So when we hear people talking about the movies, The Watchers, or who is it? Idris Elba, that has that movie 3000 and Longing, where he's technically a fallen angel and sleep with a woman. Stuff that's in the Bible, right? That really happened. When we start seeing these things come out or hearing more people talk about it, it's not by coincidence. They're just showing us what they're ushering in. And on top of, God is speaking through people. Remember, the earth is in travail. Truth is being revealed. We're in the last days. Daniel 12:4. Shut up the book to the end, because many will be knowledge, information will be increased, and many will be roaming to and fro. So we're at a point to where many people are scrambling, trying to find their way, because the pressure has increased, right? It's on purpose. The bus, the reset, all of these things are on purpose to reset for a new order. At the same time, God is restoring order. So we have all experienced different shifts. Okay. Been in the shift. Some of us 70s and 80s babies. Okay. We came up in the big shift, the transformation of music, internet, technology, cell phones, millennials. Why? The Y generation. So the enemy, again, he's been studying you. He's been studying me. He has people on the payroll that help implement his agenda. He's used many of us by default, by ignorance. Again, the illusion of being included, the illusion of wanting to be involved. That goes back to running game. You will have some people, some women that will use their body to get what they want. The woman is she? Yes, women have a natural ability to entice a man. Let's give another example. Samson. Men too, because men do it too. Men do it too. But with Samson and Delilah, okay? Delilah was sent, okay? The enemy knows what he needs and who he needs, the type of person to build. He knows your appetite, what you like, how you like it. So he knows what to send. Delilah is not just it could be a man or a woman, it could be a job, It can be money. It's that thing that will have you fall off course. It's that thing that will lead you further away from God. What was a part of Delilah's assignment? Finding out where his power lies. Ooh, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Finding out where Samson's power lies. Where is your power? Come on, because God is restoring. If air folk want power, they want the anointing, they want the all this other stuff, and the anointing breaks the yoke. But again, the enemy has to be strategic. So Delilah was like an assassin. She was a sharpshooter. She paid attention to detail. She was the one that was sent out to do the job when the other women couldn't do it, right? They strategically, let's just put it in layman's terms, she was strategically selected for the job because she knew how to talk to Samson. Come on, because this some of y'all, right? Men and women got that talk game. Talk real good to me now. And a part of what God is helping us to do to reach the soul. Many people like soul food. We talked about authentic food over the years within God's timing, right? To where it's nothing like the real thing, something authentic, something real, something that feeds your soul. And this is what God is doing. The man's soul is hungry. His mind, his will, and his emotions. So when you begin seeking, okay, this is for anybody. Eat what's for you, okay? When you begin seeking, you'll eat anything. You'll go for anything because you're wanting a desire. You're wanting a need met. And what is the woman? She is a help meet. MEET, help meet a need. At the same time, the woman is meat, MEAT. Not to these nasty folk that want to eat people and all the other stuff. Y'all know I got that block, got to be real. But I'm talking about meat, substance. Going back, time to get onto the meat. What is meat? Substance. It sticks to the bones, right? It fills you up when you're hungry. Remember, the woman came from the man's side. The ribs hold up the body frame, the structure. So again, going back to even a part of like even the backbone, what you need. So again, if you don't know you, this is why we got to get to, okay? Getting to know yourself, what you like, what you don't like, getting to know your weaknesses, your strengths. That's a part of our journey, or should be a part of your journey, even to fall into your purpose. So you can know how to navigate even around people. Because you got to think about people being sent every day, good and bad. The enemy's job is to send whatever, whoever. He don't stop just because we tired or we get tired or frustrated. And again, what did Delilah do? Let's go back to Delilah and Samson. She needed to find Samson's weakness. So for the man, Satan knew what his weakness was. First and foremost, it's the woman, right? We see a lot of folk getting in trouble. And again, your motives got to be pure, ladies, okay, and gentlemen. People want things, they want to do things, but your motives aren't pure. And people start playing with fire when you think you can continue to run game. Women run game on men trying to play the game. Men trying to run game on women. And really with some folk, people really know a lot more game than you think they do. So you think you running game on them, but y'all both playing the same game. You just not saying it. Okay? So back to with Delilah. She was a trained assassin, sharpshooter, right? She knew what to find. She was seeking Samson's weakness. What is it? But first she had to get into his head. Come on, this is kind of like mind control. What is it that he needs? Paying attention to how he moves. I listen to some Black women, you're angry with all these other races, you know, and then so listen to some of y'all, well, that's what he get. He wanted he didn't want the Black woman, and he went to the white woman, the Asian woman, this woman, went to everybody else, even went to the man, went to this, that, and the third. And that's what he get. You're not going to win that way. Okay? Why? We know we talk about manifesto agendas and it's deeper than what we could imagine, right? At the same time, why? Yeah, sometimes women, we do argue too much. Sometimes we do fuss too much. Our tolerance is a little short. Again, we're talking about communication too. Learning to hear. Again, a way to a person truly is to their heart. This is why the enemy comes for the heart. This is why we got so many broken-hearted people. He targets the heart. So again, just like with Delilah, she had to find his weakness. The enemy has been looking, trying to find where your weakness is. Where does your power lie? How can I get you caught up? Come on, because remember, this is a trap life. How can I get you so far left? What is it that you desire? So she was sent after communicating, after talking, after, listening, right? Lay your head on my pillow, that pillow talk. She was able to access some keys. Come on, he was vulnerable. Now he became open. The enemy's job is to get us in such a state of vulnerability, so open. And a lot of times, especially with children or even women, remember the weaker vessel, not saying that we weak like that, but the weaker vessel, sensitive, naive, tender, come on, real tender, open, susceptible. Now you're susceptible to the enemy. So letting this woman know where his power lies, and that's what was that's where the attack came. For him, it was his hair. Cutting his hair took his strength. How easy it is to get, would it be sex? This is why we all got to deal with lust. Deal with your lust. First of all, sexual lust, okay, sexual desire. Food. Some people, it got to deal with your lust. Deal with those issues, because those are the very things that the enemy is going to use. We end up often in trouble identify. Want to identify our hurt, our pain, or areas where your mama may have hurt you, your daddy may have hurt you. Because I had to tell the Lord with some stuff, oh, this ain't mine. Okay. From dealing with abusive relationships, identifying. So even when I look back, I've had men in relationships, right? So again, sometimes people are listening to you. Somebody that understands. And hurt people. So even too, when you begin to see a person for who they really are, especially when they're damaged and they're broken, pain. That's like when a child falls and scrapes their knee, right? Or a little baby that can't speak, right? A mother knows. There's some things that we have to begin to innately know, being able to identify. This ain't for it. It's weird. If you want to be able to build. So it goes back to tearing down the man is not going to help. And again, y'all on God's heart. You on his mind, because he sees what's going on. And people don't realize the warfare has not changed. So people think that men just miraculously, remember, lust is never satisfied. The word says it's not good that man be alone. It's not good that woman be alone either. But it's not good that man be alone. Why? Because lust is never satisfied. When we talked about the gradual changes, we see people go from, maybe it's just literally a man and a woman. Let's talk basic, right? It's a man and a woman, right? Now your sexual desires have increased. Now you want to add a woman to the pie, mix that in. Now some of y'all adding animals in there. Now some folk they add in. Now they add in just come on, it doesn't stop. Lust is never satisfied. This is why we have to deal with those desires. Okay, sometimes they can be overwhelming. So I just talked about the woman is the help meet a need. If you, for one, that goes to communication, but then two, a lot of times with women, even some of the women that I've been around, by nature we serve, right? The people that I'm connected to, even some of you all, you're automatically, or I'm gonna say it's in you as far as community, right? Some of y'all that watch me are drawn to the ministry, as I'm ministering to your souls. Okay. About family, right? Many of y'all are married, not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all are married or have gotten married, right? You're doing different things in your community. Basically, the very things that God showed me, I'm seeing it around me, right? He's bringing light, what was drawn to us. Okay, it's not me, it's God. Let me hit these notes. Okay, let me keep going. All right, so a midwife. You can consider me a midwife. Okay, a midwife is trained in assisting women in the birthing process, labor and delivery. Assist women with, again, childbirth. So the man has the seed. Remember, Satan has always been coming for the man first, right? But in order to get to the man, he had to get the woman. We're watching many women get on one accord with the enemy, with the ops, and with one another to go against men or to help add fuel to the fire, to help bring about dysfunction. Yes, I know there are some men that hurt you, ladies. Some that hurt our mamas, our aunties, our uncles. Again, go back to the warfare. The same warfare that Satan did in the garden, the government is doing it with you and me. It's on a global perspective. It didn't change. Okay. One of the areas that we're familiar with, the midwife, is in Exodus, where the two women in Exodus, they were instructed by Pharaoh to kill. People want to call you and start doing stuff. To kill the firstborn, right? The Hebrew boys. The enemy has been using women, but for some reason, strategically, the Black woman. You even notice with voting or different things, you always got to get Black people on board. Okay, they want different people, minorities and different ones, but it's something about Black agreement. I don't know. Have y'all noticed that? It's something about the Black agreement. Even with the church, it's something about your agreement. It is power. Thank you, Holy Spirit. It is power in agreement. Sometimes we kind of think that it's always just signing on the dotted line. No, your heart being in agreement. When you have all these different people that tend to jump on the bandwagon, this is how they watch and see who is in agreement by your actions, how you follow and fall for the narrative, how you jump on the bandwagon, or how you get easily distracted by whether it be something happening with Diddy or what the housewives are doing or what this is doing. The enemy knows, again, we've been kind of like children, adults, easily distracted, not focused. But they have so much around us to intrigue us, right? So again, it goes back to, this ain't Satan's first rodeo. He's using basic principles. He's using Bible. So the midwives were instructed to kill the Hebrew boys. We know that we see a lot of dialogue and conversation around abortion. We've learned that abortion was created really for Black people, even though we have other people do it. So it goes back to, things were against the family, period. But then there has been some strategic things against the Black race all over the world. We've been seeing, you might say, we like the cash cows, milking it, just milking this, whichever way possible, milking the milk out of us to no more, just trying to, till we don't got none left. Okay. Let me see what's next. So that's the very same thing that they've been having us do now: abort the mission, whether it be the children. And we see this on a bigger scale. It was, some things were designated for us, right? For Black people, FUBU. But then it impacted others because they knew, again, we're a part of the scapegoat. Because if you do it, people will follow. Goes back to not knowing who we were, especially in America. Even though we know we have a combination of Black people in America, right? Combination of different races in America, right? But again, with the enemy being strategic, if you do it, the people will follow. So again, so talented, so gifted, and trying to figure out again why we can't build fully, why we can't break certain things, right? Being entangled and mixed in too much. Again, using the woman to abort the mission, to help destroy, to help implement certain things, right? To say that you need more knowledge, that nobody cares about your feelings, cares about you. This is again why we have to deal with our heart and deal with our issues, because you can't build anything unless you begin to deal with those deep rooted issues. That sometimes, yes, you are a part of the problem, black woman, white woman, Asian woman, the woman. Same thing with the men. So wanting us to abort our missions, abort our assignments, our purpose, right? A part in the birthing process. Birthing is purpose. When the woman births, because that's why the enemy has to taint everything. You know, he just want to taint, flip everything, reverse psychology, just flip it, script it, turn it around, just flip everything. Taint the birthing process. I can't stop them because they're more and mightier. And you know, these black women, we be fertile. We be fertile. Okay. Not everybody. Sometimes when you're having trouble having babies, sometimes it's curses on the womb. Remember, we got, it's curses on the womb. But then there's some people fertile, just popping out babies. But let me get them out. Let me get them to have them out of wedlock. Right? Let me distort the family. So again, when people keep going back and forth, fussing with the man, the woman, you did this, you did that, Satan is laughing because they don't even realize this is basic warfare. It just hit deep. So when they keep going back and forth, they won't realize that they really got heart issues. It's really their sin. It's really their lust. It's really something that was in the bloodline, certain tendencies, certain desires that are coming out. But they can't identify those things because they're deep. They're too deep. So the enemy begins to play on our weaknesses again. He uses people. And many women need to stop doing that too, because people coming up dead, like men and women. Like when you play with somebody's emotions, right? With trying to play games and stuff, we watching people have more abusive relationships, people taking people's lives. Okay. When you play with people's hearts, men or women, mismanaging, okay, people's emotions, right? That's a trigger for many. Right? No one in common sense and reality wants to be taken advantage of, right? Nobody wants anybody to play with their emotions and hurt them, but people do it. People do it to each other, right? Intentionally. So again, it goes back to the heart. Your motives, are they pure or not? And a part of me talking about this too, you keep playing with fire, you will get burned. The wages of sin is death. You reap what you sow. Okay? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Some things are just basic. When you continue to kill and steal, come on, Satan, he cannot be redeemed. So again, he uses people as pawns to help with his plans. Okay? So again, being set apart, okay? For a particular purpose or calling. We hear sometimes many of us saying, "What is my purpose?" Right? What am I here for? So a part of even being stripped as a people, black people, of identity, right? To where taking on everybody else's identity, not knowing who we are, how important it is to know where you come from, history. It makes sense now why so many things were hidden, right? We're not talked about. We have people, or a people, I guess you say, at the top, that gives everybody, that knows about everybody, right? Can give everybody their history. I'm talking about white people, okay? Certain ones, get out your feelings. That knows about everybody else's history, knows about everybody else better than we so-called do. Isn't that disturbing? Hidden knowledge, hidden information. Goes back to, again, I got to keep my friends close and my enemies closer, because again, we're watching an agenda play out, right? A blueprint. So whatever is needed, whether it be religion, race, the man, the woman, the children, again, the enemy has been basically putting the 33 at the top on game. For those who like to play sports, when you got your drawing board where you got to put who goes where, you do this, what needs to be done to execute Satan's plans. His job is to kill, steal, and destroy. It has not changed. Whether it's kill your dreams, kill your vision, kill you literally, kill the family, destroy the family. Goes back to, again, the anointing breaks the yoke. The Bible talks about, because, I tell you, sometimes we getting thick out here. Well, that yoke around your neck, back in the day, where they have the yoke around the bull's neck, or the ox's, thank you, Holy Spirit, the ox's neck, the yoke, where it's tight, where the Bible talks about when you get tired, because some folk ain't tired yet, then you will allow the yoke to be removed from your neck to where you're not so easily moved. Where we watched Satan, we watched a system, we watched different people easily yoke us right back into position. Shh, be quiet. Don't say anything. You're a problem. We need the man outside of his place. So again, when I look around now, and many of us see it, right? When we see the breakdown of the man, come on, Buck, doing it for the money. This is not new. Remember, it's nothing new under the sun. It just looks different. Even in my generation growing up, when I look at gradual changes, when I was coming up, I put be mindful discretion of kids for this video. But I remember growing up, like in my, let me say, it was like 19, my early teens, right? To where that was when I recall the infatuation with butts, right? Where we saw more people infatuated with butts, even people wanting to have anal sex, right? Because God meets us where we are, okay? Because we've seen a lot of destruction taking place and things that are happening, and we give warning around here because we have a generation and a nation and Satan that has given people the illusion that you can live however you want to live behind closed doors, right? Behind the scene, and not give you the real to say that you reap what you sow. Okay? But we saw the acceleration, especially y'all 80s babies and 70s too, like our parents are more so my generation, the millennials, the Y generation. If you actually think about, we saw the infatuation of butts, right? We're seeing the results of stuff. It's gotten worse each generation, different gradual changes we have seen, gradual changes we've experienced. So when people talk about Generation Z, the generation after us, and I can't believe they doing this and I can't believe they doing that. Our generation had our stuff we was doing. Our parents' generation had their stuff they was doing. It just has gotten worse. So again, this is what happens when we don't nip stuff in the bud and we don't deal with stuff. Remember, we just been life and trying to honestly just live, not even know the depth of the things that we were being exposed to, the depth of contributions that we made. So going back to the butts, okay? So we saw this infatuation with the butts. So even me, because men talk, women talk, and I remember even having conversations with people, with women, like everybody got a butthole. Okay, so if you can do it there, you can do it with anybody or anything. We going back to lust and how gradual things. Facebook don't like me right now. Gradual changes. Again, going back to desires. Even how the internet, social media, we've seen these gradual updates. Okay, we see how these different things are being intrigued. The enemy used things to put it in our face, right? When you start to see things often, really, again, it's like subliminal messages. It makes you want to try it, whether it be candy, whatever it is. So we saw this influx of people doing stuff with anal, right? We saw the influx of women with emphasizing their butts, right? So people trying to be confused why you see it now, baby. This was gradual changes. So again, with lust never being satisfied, now we see an influx with the black men. Okay, maybe it don't bother y'all, but it bothers me. It bothers God. It bothers some of us. Like I said, even with women, you keep pushing the men away. Now what are they going to? Men. When I heard this man say, be mindful of some of these men in these fraternities and the Freemasons and stuff, not all of them, but a lot of them, that you got to sell your butt. You got to initiate your butt at some point. Maybe not everybody has done it. And a part of me even saying this too is even when I say with women, because you some of y'all are petty and you mean and you nasty. And this goes for the women too, because you want somebody to be compassionate to you and to your past and what you've done and your little secrets or your skeletons in the closet, different people, right? But then you don't do the same because you don't know what some people have experienced or encountered in their journey, their lifestyle. Are you willing to love that man, right? Past his flaws. This is why folk need to be honest and stop hiding in the closet and get out the closet and be honest. Give people the what is it? The option to make a choice if they want to do what you want to do. Give people options. But you got to think about it, even with the occult, even with Satan, even with people, even with trans men, right? We hear some of them getting killed, getting deleted because they fooled a man and they didn't know, right? But it's like Satan and even people, they get a high out of the secrecy, you not knowing, right? Tricking you into having sex or tricking you into get into a fraternity, sorority, or Freemasons, tricking you. Satan is a trickster. He ain't stopped. But you playing with fire when you do that. So again, it goes back to people needing to deal with their lust. Okay? You got more people, again, not wanting to get married, not wanting family because of what people have seen, what they've been exposed to, different hurts, even modern day stuff. You got to look at how we got here. The family was always targeted, but especially the Black family. The destruction and the deconstruction of the family dynamic. So many people can identify with what I'm saying, but folk don't want to take stuff for what it is when it is exactly what it is. So again, when people, again, you try and figure out why we see this infatuation around the butts now, and it's too many down low men, just come out. If you want to do what you want to do, whatever it is, your lifestyle, this is the problem, the secrecy part. The secrecy. Because what you do in the dark comes to the light. So what God gives us, he extends us grace and mercy, right? So a part of even talking about this and why the Lord has even led me to talk about this, because some people's deeds are going to end up being on Front Street. The light is going to be shined on it. God has given you opportunity and chance to deal with your demons, to deal with your lust, to deal with your sin, to deal with your issues. But when you continue to try to stay hidden and hide your evil deeds, especially when it impacts others, you'll be put out on Front Street. It may be a woman that does it. It may be your lover that does it. It may be a person that does it, whoever. It may be the government, the church, whatever, because even this is what we're seeing on a bigger scale too. Satan is an accuser of the brethren. So even with the government, with these different systems and different people, they're going to start accusing people, showing you your deeds. Well, you do this and you do that. Going back to the fraternities. This is why the enemy don't care. The government don't care, because you in the bed with it. As far as church leaders, right? You're entangled in it. So you're not really going to have a full effect or impact on the people or on the communities or on people's souls because you're in the occult. So they don't care. Satan don't care. It makes sense now. When we're touching certain things or we're in certain things or we're mixed in certain things, this is why the enemy it don't bother him. Because you can't fully have a true impact or a pure impact because you're entangled. Whether it's entangled in certain lifestyles, you touching Satan's stuff. Remember, he knows law and order. I don't care how well you preach. I don't care how well you teach. I don't care how smart, how successful you are, all these different things, because we've gotten to a point with some of us to where until you deal with this, you can't get the next. You can't get past this. You may have success, money, but it's like you can't get married. You can't find a husband, or you can't get a baby. You can't get pregnant, right? Different areas where it's like you're going to stop right here, depending on who you are, depending on your position, depending on who you are, your calling, depending on you and God. That's between you and God, right? So it's like, I can't get over this hump. God is at a point to, until you deal with this part, you can't build. You can't fully walk in your purpose, because what God is building now, what God is doing now, it has to be pure, right? We can't have all the toxins and mixing stuff, because remember, you end up spreading infections. So you have people in the church infecting people with doctrines and ideologies, right? A lot of us have had to unlearn some things, right? Detox, right? From certain things that we learned in the church, certain things we learned growing up, certain mindsets, music. It takes time, baby. It's gradual. It's easy to get all that junk in you. It's like gaining weight. It's easy to gain weight and get big, right? It don't take long, but it's hard sometimes to lose weight. It takes endurance. It takes consistency. It takes work. So all that bad stuff that we've had in us, that we've gotten throughout our lives, right? Different generations, it takes work to get all that out, all that infection, all that toxicity, certain mindsets, certain ideologies. Okay, that pain, that hurt, it takes work. And many folk don't want to do the work, but you'll work on your body, you'll work on your lips, you'll work on your stroke game. You got even women, men, people think sex solves everything. No. Even understanding the power of sex, y'all. Sex is powerful. We think it's just, oh, I'm laying down with this person. No, I tell women this all the time now, especially when I've learned that you're giving that man all of you. All of you. A man can go about his day. Yeah, men and women get soul ties. Men get soul ties too. But with women, it's something about, it's different. It's deeper. This is why you got so many women, even, I'm talking about, got that deep block. You need to detox. Okay? And the more you keep entering or letting a man enter and he's not your husband. Okay? We want to have legal sex. We want to stay out of trouble. You're opening yourself up. Again, now you're susceptible. Not only to diseases and sickness, you're susceptible to spirits, whatever that man got, his issues. Now you've taken it on. Because remember, we carry, women, remember? We carry the seed for the man, right? We carry the baby. A lot of times we carry baggage. Sometimes you might say, even with folk just be testing me, man. Look, I can't talk to them right now. What was I talking about? We carry baggage. Okay, y'all remember that song with Erykah Badu, Bad Lady? Carry a lot. More than sometimes we should carry. We're not meant to carry everything. But now we have women that think that, oh, well, I'm so strong and I'm this and I'm that. And you will be broken down. Don't let these women on social media, on entertainment, fool you trying to be these boss chicks and be super independent, because you see a lot of them alone. Even when the Bible talks about where you have 7 women to 1 man, how women will say, this is scripture, but we see this in real life, where women say, I got my own money. I got my own. Just let me get your last name, baby. That's Bible. But we see this in real time and nowadays, where you hear women saying that. I got my own success, my own. I got this, I got that. I just want you to marry me. Boy, this is deep. You got women proposing to men. Caught picking chicken. I might have to do a part 2. Y'all, I'm going to briefly take an intermission because I got to take this call. I'm going to take an intermission and I will be back and talk to y'all soon.